Hello, my name is Allie Simpson. There were 3 different projects of my classmates that I took a look at and gained great insight as to different problems that are faced in Latin America. I viewed Bella Mimetri's video on agriculture in Costa Rica, Madeline Ryan's video about how music has created survival and resilience in Venezuela, and Sophie Mesmer's video about social and economic problems in Mexico. As I previously mentioned, Bella studied agriculture in Costa Rica. Her insights were personable as she actually visited Costa Rica last year and got to take many tours of sugarcane and the coffee industries. She mentioned that 10% of the country's land is dedicated to farming, which is very great considering that the farming of coffee, bananas, sugarcane, and also cattle ranching are a huge income and job provider of the citizens of Costa Rica. One of the most interesting statistics that she researched and discovered was that banana production is twice as much as the coffee production, and that Costa Rica is the second largest producer in the world of bananas. I think of my own local Kroger store, which I work at, and the boxes and boxes of bananas that are delivered and sold each week, and it's very crazy. It is very great that the farming industry in Costa Rica brought them out of widespread poverty in the 1940s and continues to be a huge revenue provider for the country. Thank you for your insights about Costa Rica, Bella. Next, I looked at Madeline Ryan's research about how music has created survival and resilience in Venezuela. Madeline introduced the video by speaking about the Venezuelan President Maduro, who has allowed and enabled the country to be riddled with poverty, political turmoil, human rights abuse, manipulation, and malnutrition. He has widespread restrictions on intrinsic freedoms like the freedom of speech and press, which is why music has proven to be such a great way for the citizens to express themselves, cope with their problems, learn, celebrate, and connect with others. The most interesting thing I found while watching her video was that there is a national organization in Venezuela that provides music education to over 700,000 children across the country. As music brings both pride and tradition to the country, this program allows children to feel the hope of music and a feeling of belonging amidst the chaos in their country and their backyards. Lastly, I highly enjoyed viewing Sophie's video about social and economic problems in Mexico. Sophie discussed how most of their problems relate to the root problem of poverty. She discussed the problematic cycle of poverty and how it is extremely difficult for individuals and their families to break this cycle. High poverty rates force people into the workforce at an earlier age and therefore limits the youth to higher education, as rural areas struggle even more due to decreased access to jobs. Other areas are working on providing increased access to higher education in Latin American countries like Mexico. This allows people to get better jobs and pay, but also increases the immigration rate as people with a higher education seek higher paying jobs in other countries, and this therefore harms the people of Mexico too as a whole, because when people leave, then the money is not being circulated into their country. One of the most interesting finds of Sophie's research was the poverty rate in Mexico, which is an astounding 3 times higher than the United States rate, at 35% compared to about 11%. All in all, this proves the vicious cycle that poverty is and the increasing importance of trying to break this cycle for their own family's sakes. All in all, these videos all focused on different issues in different countries, and the most interesting one, in my opinion, was Madeline's research about music in Venezuela. This piqued my interest the highest because thinking of such a rough and authoritarian government, the hope that humans can find through music is very inspirational and encouraging, and is something that I and many other Americans surely take for granted. These finds have definitely impacted my views about Latin American countries and their struggles. I think so many Americans struggle politically and economically. However, when you compare to other countries who just want to make it to our country, to the United States, for our freedoms, we can realize how blessed we are to have the liberties like the freedom of speech, press, and religion, and so on, that so many other countries lack, like Venezuela. I found the same connection with my own research about political issues in Guatemala, as they have sought independence, political freedoms, and social freedoms as well. Ultimately, this was a very intriguing and insightful research project, and I am glad to have had the opportunity to study and to learn from others as well. Thank you.